Hi, welcome to Allbrands After Hours with me, Courtney Douthat. Welcome to the show where we hang out and craft together. Today, we'll be answering questions that you guys have submitted on the Brother ScanNCut. Let's do it. So let's jump back to last week where we did etching glass with your ScanNCut. So we had a question that says, do you use permanent or removable adhesive vinyl to do this? I personally use permanent. I only use permanent. I never use removable, or if rarely, because I feel like the permanent vinyl is never actually that permanent. And I want to make sure that I'm getting a real good seal on whatever I'm etching on, so no etching cream goes underneath it. So I only ever use permanent. It's very rare that I even buy removable vinyl. I only use permanent. So this would be pressure sensitive vinyl. There's heat transfer vinyl and pressure sensitive vinyl. Heat transfer vinyl, so HTV, is going to be something you want to put on a shirt, on a koozie, on some kind of material like that, is when you're going to want to use heat transfer vinyl. Pressure sensitive vinyl is going to be on wall decals, on my machine, on something like a Yeti cup. I'm going to use pressure sensitive vinyl because I'm not going to put an iron to those things. So that's when you would use the two. For etching glass, you would use PSV, so pressure sensitive vinyl. And again, I only ever use permanent. I never really buy removable vinyl because I'm not trying to remove it usually. All right, so the video before that one was unboxing the ScanNCut. I think it was SDX 325. One saying, hello from Virginia. I love when you guys tell me where you're from. Unwrapping is fun. I have the 230DX. No Mickey and Minnie on the SDX 325. Still Disney though. So on the 325 there is no Disney. On the 330 there is. So on previous models like the 225 and the 330, 225 didn't have Mickey and Minnie, but the 330 did. So usually it's the 30, so 230 or 330, you're going to get Mickey Mouse built in. On the 225 and the 325, you won't get Mickey Mouse built in. So that's a huge difference between those two machines. This one wasn't a question, but they just said, thank you so much for these videos, Courtney. I have been thinking of getting a ScanNCut, and these videos are helping me think about what I want in a machine. That is a great idea, to watch YouTube videos or anywhere videos about the different machines, because actually seeing them in use and what they can do should help you narrow down what features that you want. It's all features. They all cut. I mean, not all of them scan, but they all cut. And it's just features. What features do you want? I love the ScanNCut because I'm not limited, and it's very easy to scan straight into the machine, pull in anything I want. It can read my PDS files to be able to cut out my appliques. So there's so many features of the ScanNCut than just the cutting that I love. So that's usually that's a huge reason of why I go to this. That and not having to do cut settings and pressure settings and telling the machine in software what I want it to cut before it comes in there. No. Autoblade. And again, guys, you can always purchase this machine on our website at allbrands.com. Again, we are a family-owned and operated business, so we very much appreciate you guys. And then, of course, you get me. When you buy from Allbrands, you get me, that I'm here to help with whatever you need. All right, and this question we answered on the last video, but I want to answer it here again because I feel like it's a very good question that a lot of people don't even know to ask, is which number or numbers of the ScanNCut hook to the XP1? And a lot of people are like, what do you mean hooks? What's an XP1? An XP1 is a Brother XP1 machine. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. It's a very nice sewing and embroidery machine. It's top of line for Brother. So what the ScanNCut and her have in common is they talk to each other. So the ScanNCut can be talked to by any Brother machine. You can send, if it's wireless, if your Brother sewing embroidery machine or your embroidery machine is wireless, it can send a PES file to the ScanNCut wirelessly. So she can read it to cut out like an applique. But if you have an XP machine or a Stellaire, she can talk back. So she can now send that cut file over to the machine to do a stitch out. So it's really, really cool. I know people are like, what? It's really, really cool. So any wireless Brother machine can talk to her, but she can only talk back. I like how I'm visual. She can only talk back to an XP machine or a Stellaire. So very, very cool. All right, another question we had was, I bought the vinyl kit and they gave me a pin number, but I don't know where to put in the ScanNCut DX machine. Okay, So what you're going to do when you get your vinyl kit, there's going to be an activation card. You need to go online to your Brother Canvas account, which you should have already gotten a Brother Canvas account because you should have registered your machine. But you're going to go onto that account and you're going to go in there and register that vinyl kit onto your account. And you'll see like there will be a bunch of different ones that you can select, and the vinyl kit is the one that you're going to want. So you're going to enter that. You're going to enter that pin that's special to each vinyl kit, has its own pin. So you're going to enter that code into there to register it on your Canvas account. So now it's on your account. And people always ask me, Courtney, what if I upgraded my machine? What happens to all my rhinestone kits, my foil kits? What happens to all my kits? Can I still use them? Yes, they stay on the account. So that's another reason that you want to go to your Brother Canvas account. They stay on your Canvas account, not to the machine. So if you were to upgrade your machine or get a different machine, it's on the account, not on the machine. Does that make sense? So it's going to keep going for you. And I think you can do it up to like 3 machines if you've ever upgraded to 3 ScanNCuts. Which, I mean, personally, I've only upgraded every 3 times, and I've been doing this for, we're not going to say how many years, a while. I've been doing this a while. But you can keep upgrading your machines, but it's on your Canvas account. So your kits are fine. That's a huge reason that they do it that way. That way, if something happens to your machine, you're okay because it's on your Canvas account. So another question we got are there any quilting patterns / blocks in the machine? There are so many built into the machine. Yes, you can bring in any of your own, but there's tons built in. So we did a video where we made a quilt out of the blocks from the machine. We used different blocks to make it. But where you would go in your machine is pattern. You'd scroll down 1 right here, and right here are all of your quilt blocks. Now, Courtney, that's not many. Click into it, and there's going to give you even more. And then you can scroll down and see the different quilt blocks that are in here. So many in here. Just kind of keeps going and going. There we go. And then we could select into a different one if we wanted to. And there's not just squares, there's these in here. So there's so many built into your machine. So click around, see which ones you like, and you could literally make a whole quilt out of blocks out of the machine, and you've custom made it. So very, very cool feature, probably one of my favorite. And again, she draws, and she will draw your seam allowance for you for every single one of those quilt blocks. Alrighty, so on the video, 5 do's and don'ts for the Brother ScanNCut that we did, we had a question. That would be great to do a live class. If you have an SVG file, do you have to make it an FCM file before you cut it? All right, so the first part of that is, yes, we are doing a live, we are going to start doing live shows every once in a while. Currently, as we speak, my new studio is being painted. What? New studio? Yes, I am actually going to be moving out of this small area into a big new studio, and that is because of you guys, y'all watching, y'all commenting, putting questions, and just being so wonderful and watching these videos and subscribing, that I get a nice new studio so I can do more videos for you guys and on whatever you want. I'm going to start doing more PR videos because we have a lot of questions on the multi-needle machines. ScanNCut videos will stay the same. Don't worry, ScanNCut videos will still be here, but I'll be doing more of them. I'll be able to do live videos. We'll be able to bring people in. We'll have so many more options, and I owe that so much to you guys for watching. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I cannot wait for you guys to see the new studio. I can't wait to see the new studio. Like as soon as I'm done filming this, I'm running in there to go see how the painting's doing, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be really annoyed and be like, okay, go. But I'm so excited. Thank you guys. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. All right, so second part of the question. If you have an SVG file, do you have to make it into an FCM file? No, you do not. The ScanNCut can read a SVG, an FCM, and a PES, which we all are familiar with the PES because if we have a Brother embroidery machine, that's the format that the embroidery machine would read for Brother. So she's a Brother machine, so she can read that PES. If you have an SDX model, I know I'm throwing a lot of letters at you. So if you have a CM model, she cannot. If you have an SDX, she can read a PES. If you have a CM model, she can read a SVG and an FCM, so cut files. If you have, which I mean, you can scan it in, so you're good. But if you have an SDX model, she can read that PES too. You don't need to convert anything at all. As long as you have a PES format, or as long as you have an SVG and an FCM. So if you have those three, you're good to go. You can put it straight into the machine. Another one, this wasn't a question, she was just saying, we visited one of your stores while on vacation in January. Thank you so much for visiting. If y'all don't know, we, Allbrands, we have 7 locations, and I'll pop them up on the screen. We have 7 locations in Louisiana and Texas, and a lot of people are like, wait, come to this state, wait, come to this state. So currently we only have Louisiana and Texas, 7 beautiful stores, and they are wonderful. And we also have our website, allbrands.com, that has so many items. So if you visited one of our stores, please tell me in the comments which store you visited, and maybe one day we can do a meetup at one of the stores and we can talk ScanNCut and all the fun things in there. So on the video of ScanNCut 10 things I wish I knew when I started, we had a few questions on there. Let's see, this one said, thank you, Courtney. I just got my ScanNCut this week and your tutorials give me the confidence. I am noticing that the mats are very tacky and damage the paper when pulling it off. You mentioned a low tack mat. Is that different from the standard mat? Thanks again. Okay, I'm so glad to hear that we gave you the confidence to use a machine. Now, there are different mats. So with most machines, or with a few different ones, you're gonna get different mats. I know with the 325, you get your standard and you get a fabric mat, which are 2 great mats. However, if I'm doing paper, I really don't like to put it on a standard or on a fabric mat. I like to use my low tack mat. I consider that my paper mat. That is the least stickiest of the mats. It goes low tack, from not least sticky to most sticky. Low tack, standard, fabric. Well, I guess if your scanning mat has no stickiness to it, but if the mats that you're cutting on is going to be low tack, standard, and fabric. So I would use my low tack only for paper. So that's your blue mat, only for paper. My standard mat, I use it, your purple mat, is going to be for vinyl, different things like that. That's what I use my standard for the most. My fabric mat is my most sticky mat. That one I'm going to use for fabric, any thick material like cork or leather, I'm going to do on my fabric mat. Also, I'm really bad and I use my fabric mat for like thin balsam wood and stuff like that, that I want to make sure that it's got a good grip on there so it's not going to slide around any. But it would be too much for paper. A standard or a fabric mat is just too much for paper. It's going to shred it to smithereens. Okay, another one we got are any tips on picking the best iron press? Does steam matter? How about the multi-purpose ones that do sublimation printing on mugs and hats? Okay, so with that, if you're doing it for vinyl, so if you're wanting a press for vinyl, no steam. No steam. No. So I would avoid steam. I would not do steam. We don't want steam in this because what we're wanting is pressure and heat to seal in vinyl. So let's say we had this piece of vinyl right here. This is a piece of heat transfer vinyl. If you notice, the matte side is the glue, and then the shiny side is a clear plastic that's holding everything together. So let's say we cut out like this snowflake. It was the same thing like this. It was just a solid piece. So we would put it down on our machine with the glue side up, shiny side down, and then have it do a half cut, which will only cut through half the material because it is 2 pieces. So we would only cut through half of it and leave us with our design that we want. Well, this clear part's still on there. Well, that's because if it was like a name or something, or how it's this, if I'm putting it down on my shirt or whatever I'm ironing to, it's going to make sure that it's perfectly aligned and I'm not, accidentally unaligning something. So love the clear part, but whenever you put like a piece of clear cotton material down to iron on it, don't put an iron straight to there, but when you're putting that piece of clear cotton on, not only if you're doing it on a heat press, not only are you trying to push it down to get that pressure on there, but you want to make sure you're adding adequate heat because we're heating up that glue that's on the back, and we want to get it to the temperature it wants. Usually on the packaging of the vinyl, it'll tell you the recommended temperature it wants to get to. Well, if you're doing it with a hand iron, you're not really sure exactly what temperature it's going to. You can kind of put it on the dial, but if you're doing it on a heat press, not only are you putting the exact temperature on there, but you're also applying the pressure that it needs to seal it in really well. So steam and that would not be a good mixture. You want pressure and you want heat. Now for the sublimation things, I don't see why it would be a bad idea if it had that additional feature. But again, as long as it's got that pressure and that heat and it's not adding anything else, you're good. You don't want steam. You don't want any kind of condensation in that. That's just not what heat transfer vinyl wants. Now, if you're doing sublimation, you're not doing regular vinyl, well, then that's a whole different other story for a different day. But for that, that's what you're going to want. And again, I highly recommend getting a heat press if you're going to do this for a business, because you want to make sure that it's giving that good seal, so that way when people are washing it, it's not peeling up on the ends, and then they're not going to want to buy from you again if it's not a good quality product. So having that sealed in, really, really great. If you're just doing this for you, and you don't have to get a heat press. You could just do it with a hand iron. Make sure you're applying pressure and a good amount of heat, and doing it in sections. The heat press is just nice because it's a lot of heat and it's good even pressure, and usually they're a large area that you can just do at once. Alrighty, so the next video would be wood burning with the brother ScanNCut. Yes, that was a very cool one. I love that video. And so many of you were like, what? Hold on, wood burning? You're burning wood ScanNCut? So if you haven't seen that video, highly recommend that. We had a question, very cool project. After it finished, should it be sealed with something like a polyurethane? Would make great Christmas ornaments. Yes. So if you're going to be using this quite a lot, so ours was a tray, and if I was setting things on the tray and going to be using it or wanting to make it food grade in any kind of way, then I would want to seal it. This one was we just kind of tilted up by my entranceway so people could see it when they walked by. So I didn't seal it, I just kept it as is. But if you're wanting to seal it, I would totally do a polyurethane. You just kind of pour it on there and make sure it evens out. So yes, you could seal it, and there's so many different ways to seal it. It's completely up to you. It's not going to affect the wood burning by sealing it. I mean, it's burned into the wood, so it's not going anywhere. So it's 1,000% up to you if you want to seal it. Well, that's just some of the questions that we got. If I didn't answer your question, I'm so sorry. But guys, put in the comment section down below more questions that you have, and I'll come back and answer those on our next questions and answer video. Thank you again so much for watching. I'm so excited to be in the new studio. Hopefully for the next video, we'll see how quickly we can get it up and working. But thank you again. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and like and share and all those good things. But we really appreciate it. And we are so close to hitting 11,000 subscribers, which is mind-boggling to me. But thank you again. And a live video will be coming soon. I will tell you guys when that is. I'll give you enough heads notice. But with the new studio, I'll actually be able to do that. So thank you. Y'all have a good night. Bye.